Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Kevin Blekicki Show. This is episode number 51. First off, I would like to say thank you to all the people who watched my most recent YouTube video. It blew up. I absolutely was not expecting that. At the time of this recording, it's over 14,000 views, almost 200 comments, almost 93% like to dislike ratio. That's all fantastic. If you look at the numbers on the rest of my page, my videos don't blow up. I post when I am able to, and I do a weekly podcast. And I'd like to think that people out there like what I have to say. So if you're someone who recently found my channel, welcome. There were some people who didn't like my video because of politics or whatever. If you're not happy with the abolish ICE sticker on my video, and you're not, you don't like my social commentary, this video also probably won't be for you because we will be talking about some real world issues. But to the people who actually liked my content and have been seeing it for the first time, I appreciate you. I hope you like and subscribe. I hope you stay and you continue to consume my content because I like putting it out there and it's good that it's actually getting seen. But that being said, we do have an amazing show for you this week. We have a lot to talk about. We're going to be talking about the Olympic hockey that's been going on. Team USA women are absolutely dominating. If they're able to get the job done against Team Canada, it might be one of the most dominant runs we've seen in recent history. We're also going to talk about the men's side of things. Kind of a nail biter against Sweden. They get the job done in overtime. We'll talk about those horrendous overtime rules. Team Canada almost dropped against Team Czechia, and we also we'll talk a little bit about NBA All-Star Weekend. And there's also a major MLB scandal that hit the timeline the other day, but we will start off talking about the Milano Cortina 2026 Olympics, specifically hockey. And I want to give a huge shout out to the US women's ice hockey team because they deserve all the credit in the world. They currently have a streak of 5 consecutive shutouts. They allowed 1 goal in their first game, and they haven't allowed a single goal at all since then. So they deserve all the credit, both the goaltenders and the defense. Are they still called defensemen in women's hockey? Are they defense women? I don't know. Whatever the correct term is, the defense has been incredible. The only issue that I have with this team is it's something that bothers me with all women's sports. I don't like when men are head coaches of women's teams. I want the girls to have their own thing. Whenever I see a man like coaching a women's team, I always think of that one video like, why was a man there? Why would a man be there? I don't know. It just and I say this as a millennial. I don't like to use some of the Gen Z lingo. I like to let them have their own thing. But seeing a man coach a women's sports team gives me the ick. I can't believe I just said that into a microphone, but it's something that I'm not really big on. But anyway, I cannot wait to see this team play for gold against Canada. They wiped the floor with them the first time. Hopefully, they wipe the floor with them again. And if they're able to actually pull this off, and like I mean, obviously, like they're one of the favorites, if not the favorite, to win the whole tournament. If they put up like another 5-0 clean sheet, we're gonna to have the discussion of one of the most dominant runs in recent sports history, men or women's. Now, it's a little bit different than the culmination of a full season because the Olympics are only a few weeks. So, it's not like these girls have been playing, a full season of hockey. and then going into the playoffs and then beating everyone to a pulp. So there is that sort of exception to the rule, but I mean, there you can't take anything away from these girls. And there is a a trend that's going on TikTok of the Olympic players pronouncing their names through the Olympics app, and people are like joking on how they how they assume that the players are pronouncing their name, and the one that always comes up is a girl on the Canadian hockey team, Emma Malte. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart, Emma, huge fan of your content. I follow you on TikTok. Uh, Nothing against you personally. I apologize to what my country is about to do to your country. I am so sorry. The way that you say Emma Malte is fantastic. It's going to be a new vocal stem of mine for the foreseeable future. But we will be coming for that Maple Leaf ass, metaphorically. So I apologize. I want to congratulate you on a great run. I want to congratulate you on your silver medal. But this is our time. America, the women are getting the gold in hockey. The men, I can't say anything about that because I thought that Team Canada was head and shoulders the best team in these Winter Olympics. And then they let Team Czechia really, give them the business kind of. This was, I mean, Team Czechia has some NHL talent on there, but Team Canada is Team Canada. Everyone expected, uh, Canada and the United States to be playing for the gold medal on Sunday. And they still very well can. But Team Canada has quite literally been giving everyone else a hard time. They beat France 10-2. That was their most recent game. They are coming off a 10-2 win against France, and then they barely squeak by Czechia. They only scored because they had the extra attacker. No, that my mistake. That was Sweden. Sweden scored the goal with the extra attacker against the United States. It's late. I apologize for that mistake. I will own up to that mistake. That is a mistake on my part. I should know. I saw the game. I was at work, but I saw the game. And this is a team that, in their other two games, Team Canada, I should say, beat Switzerland 5-1, and Czechia previously in this tournament they beat them 5-0. So this is a team that had a 20-3 goal differential coming into this game, and they ended up winning 4-3 in overtime. We got to talk about these overtime rules. They are absolutely insane. Everyone has such fond memories of TJ Oshie, winning the game against Russia in 2014 in Sochi in the shootout, and him just going again and again. Because in Olympic play, you can, once you reach a certain amount of players that have already participated in the shootout, you can just keep running it back. And that's what happened. TJ Oshie just kept going and going and going and scoring and scoring and scoring. And he ended up winning the game for us. The fact, and it's a moment in sports history that will unite this entire country. But I can't even understand why they would have the rules like that when you're trying to play for a medal. And in this scenario, this was a winner advance, loser go home. If Canada lost this game, they don't play another hockey game. They don't compete for a bronze medal. They don't compete for a gold or silver medal. They're done. These were the quarterfinals. Now, Czechia is out. Now, Canada is going to be playing Finland on Friday in the semifinals. And so now they have to, they had They tied the game at 3 after being the Czechs were up 3-2 late in this game. Canada ties it. Canada then obviously wins it in overtime, but they do 3-on-3 overtime for 10 minutes and then a shootout. That is so dumb. Why would you do that? Why like, it should be 20 minutes continuous overtime like playoff hockey is in the NHL, 20 minutes. Well, after the third period, you have another intermission, and then it's a full 20 minutes. And if they still don't score, then it's another full 20 minutes, and you play until you score a goal and someone wins. Um, I don't know who decided that rule, but they need to change it before the 2030 Olympics because that's just stupid. But then the United States, on the other hand, they played Sweden, as I mentioned. They were up 1-0. It was very late in the game. Then Sweden ended up tying the game with the goalie on the bench and them having the extra attacker. And the United States ended up winning in overtime thanks to Quinn Hughes of the Minnesota Wild. And now they'll be playing in the semifinals on Friday against Slovakia. Now, everyone is going to be waiting on Friday to see the results of those two games because everyone wants to see USA and Canada in the gold medal game, myself included. I would like revenge for the four nations that happened last year when Canada beat us. And as much as I love hearing the stories about the Miracle on Ice in 1980, it's been too damn long. That was 46 years ago. And we need new blood. We need another gold medal. I can't believe the United States has only won 2 gold medals in hockey. When you have the best league in your country and everyone flocks to your country to play hockey and you don't dominate by winning gold medals, that's a problem. Now, granted, in this time that we have struggled to win a gold medal, we have completely shut out Canada from winning a Stanley Cup. So that we have the cups, they have the gold medals. It's a trade-off. I don't know if it's necessarily a trade-off that I would want, but hey, I would also trade an Islanders Stanley Cup for a gold medal. Now, my dad has seen all 4 of the consecutive Islanders Stanley Cups. As you can see, that is the poster right there, the core 4, though, that we won in the 80s. And so maybe my dad has a different answer. I'll ask him that, and I'll get back to you to see if he would trade the United States winning a gold medal for an Islanders championship. I think that he would go with the gold medal because he's seen more Islanders cups, but then again, it was also almost 40 years ago that we won as well. So I don't know. But hockey has the opportunity to really build their fan base. Unfortunately, they won't be having fighting in the gold medal game. They're gonna, or in the Olympics at all. You can't fight. I mean, you technically can't fight in the NHL too. I mean, they let you do it, but you still get penalized for it. If they actually let them fight, that would be the highest viewed gold medal game of all time, in my opinion, and it still might be because a lot of people are riding high off the Four Nations. That was one of the best All-Star weekends, I guess you could call it that, I've seen in my lifetime. Whenever you get people playing for their country, it always means something a little bit more. I know that when people see the "Abolish ICE" sticker on these videos and they hear my comments on the current administration, people think that I hate the country. Obviously, that's not true. I love being an American. I love living in America. I'm proud of my country. I'm not proud of all the stuff that they do. I don't agree with a lot of the things that pretty much all the things that this current administration does. Doesn't mean I don't love this country. Doesn't mean that I don't want to see it succeed. And I think that if you don't criticize it, then that's your way of being complacent, and that means that you don't actually love the country. if you love it, you want to take care of it and you want to make sure that it's a better place for other people. And I don't think that future generations are going to be positively impacted by this current administration. But we're getting off topic. We're getting off topic. We're going to take a break, and then we'll be back with more of the Kevin Blekicki Show. Hello, and welcome back to the Kevin Blekicki Show. Dude, I was in the middle of me downloading the clips for the first part of this show. I was on my phone and I was looking at this former CIA guy, John Kiriakou. I don't know how you pronounce his name. I've been seeing him all over my For You page. I don't know if anything he is saying is true because he's from the CIA, but man, that guy knows how to tell a story. I don't know if any of it's true, but every time he is on my phone, I am locked in. I'm like, this is going to be one of the craziest stories that I've ever heard, and it always is. It always delivers. I mean, I don't know if he is technically a good guy or a bad guy. I mean, he's a whistleblower. I've seen his other videos. I like his politics. But man, that guy is charismatic and a fantastic storyteller. But I digress. We're gonna kind of take what we talked about in the first part of the show, and we're gonna transition it into the second part. I was talking about hockey and the Olympics and how the NHL has an opportunity to really get, increase its fan base with the popularization, sorry, of Four Nations face-off and these Olympics, especially if this team wins a gold medal. They're gonna spawn a whole bunch of kids to play hockey, much like the people that are playing now were inspired by the Miracle on Ice team. But one of the reasons why they're going to be able to capitalize this, hopefully, is because of the downfall of the NBA, and they had three of their biggest superstars really take a hit to their persona, to their public image these last couple of days. The All-Star game happened, All-Star weekend. I've only seen 2 dunks from the All-Star weekend and from the dunk contest, and they were literally just regular dunks that you would see in the game. I didn't recognize any of there's only 4 contestants, didn't recognize any of them. I think one of them is Jackson Hayes. I think I've heard of him. I'm a casual NBA fan. I haven't really been heavily invested in it since the Nets' big 3 came and went. When it comes to basketball, I'm more of a fan of, like, of team like, if I'm not a fan of a team and the team's not do if I'm a fan of a team and the team's not doing well, I'm not really that interested in it. I have to really be invested in it. Like, I was locked into the Olympics in 2024 with Team USA, seeing those 3 guys, Steph, KD, and LeBron. It was awesome. On one last ride, winning gold medal, it was fantastic. But, and, like, when it comes to Gamecock women's basketball, I'm all for it. I'm gonna be going to their, next game against either Ole Miss or Mississippi State. I don't remember which team they're playing. One of the Mississippi teams. But I do enjoy basketball, but I find it better when I actually care about the teams and the players in it. And I just don't really care about a lot of the new generation of players anyway. But anyway, we're getting past that. LeBron. So basically, how it started was, the NBA had one of their new all-stars be from Israel, and I don't know this guy's name. I can't pronounce it. I don't want to butcher it. But he would, LeBron James was asked about this. He was asked about, you know, him being Israeli, and they were asking him about Israel. And basically, what it came down to is he said that he's heard great things about Israel, and he would love to visit there one day. And that's insane. Because and we there was a trend while back, maybe a year or 2 ago, and it was, people would comment on anything, and it'd be random and be like, "How would this affect LeBron's legacy?" I actually think that this might really affect his legacy. There's the term bronzexual, people who defend LeBron James at every single turn, every moment they get, the opportunity they get, they defend him, and I just don't think that you can defend this. Now, when it comes to the whole Israel-Palestine, discussion, I'm not the person to ask about that. I haven't seen the videos and the photos of the damage. I've heard all about it, but it's not something that I'm interested in. And I know that's, sanitizing what's happening, but I have enough on my plate. I don't want to see that. However, when it comes to picking a side, I know that Palestine is in the right in this scenario. I know that the Palestinian people have been fighting against the Israelis for years, for decades. This is nothing new. It's just been more mainstream now. And look, there's good and bad guys on both sides, and I don't think that you being Israeli makes you a bad person. But I obviously don't side with the Israeli government, much like I don't, you know, side with the American government. I'm obviously American. I have American friends. Pretty much all my friends are American, and I don't hate them because our president sucks. I don't hate them because they're American. I like them. I love them. I just hate the government. I want that to be clear. I don't hate people who are Israeli. I just hate the Israeli government. And I'm able to kind of form my opinion on it. How I formed my opinion on it was every single person that I know and respect in the world of politics uh, is pro-Palestinian, and every single person that I oppose and think is a bad person is pro-Israeli. So that's how I made up my decisions. If you don't think that that is the correct way for me to go about that, you are perfectly fine in coming at me in the comments, saying that I'm wrong, saying that I need to be watching these videos. If you don't think that, I'm not doing my part, I'm not a political, I don't want to say I'm not a political person because I absolutely very am. I pay attention to it. I'm not a historical person, but I know what's happening in the world. And I know that what Israel is doing is a genocide. Um, and for LeBron to come out and say that he's heard nothing but great things about that has to literally be false. Because even if he doesn't know what's going on, there's no way that he hasn't heard good or bad. He hasn't heard bad things about Israel. Everyone's heard bad things about Israel, much like everyone's heard bad things about the United States. And I think that LeBron James is a person who will just kind of lie to fit in. We've seen him lie about the books that he reads. We've seen him make videos of him singing or rapping along to songs that he doesn't really know the words to kind of fit in. I think he wants everybody to like him and he wants to fit in. And he kind of just took the I am writing a book report on a book I haven't read approach. I think that I mean, and let's not forget the fact that he is a billionaire. So he has his money to worry about. And the NBA is quite literally pro-Israeli, and that's what a lot of the money that's in this country is going towards. Powerful people are pro-Israeli. That's kind of just how it is. Um, so I think that, to say that he is still this kid from Akron is not doing it anymore. He knows. I think he knows what he's doing. he's a very rich man and he's trying to protect his assets, and he's kind of taking like the Dwayne The Rock Johnson approach and just trying to be a blanket likable person to every person in the country and not really rock the boat. And I don't think that history is really going to think fondly of him um, in that regard. LeBron James, in my opinion, is the greatest basketball player of all time. If you don't agree with that, that's fine. But for him, when you think about his legacy and you think about what he could have done to actually help people in need, he's done a lot. He's did the I Promise School. He's done a lot to help people. But this was an opportunity for him to really cement his legacy, not just as a basketball player, but as a humanitarian. And he was part of the people who were against the shut up and dribble uh, sentiment when it was popular. And it feels like right now he's kind of just shutting up and dribbling. So I don't really care for that. Also, I was talking about the GOAT debate. One of the other people in the GOAT debate is Michael Jordan. And if you've seen that video of what he did at the Daytona 500 to that kid after winning, his driver winning, look, there's no defense. I mean, I don't know what the context is of that. Um, I don't know what he was doing. He was like touching the back of this kid's shirt in a weird way. I don't know. I don't know the context of it. It's not a good look. It's not a good look for MJ. Uh, you know, I mean, his legacy is what it is. He's a compulsive gambler, not a, he's, an aggressive teammate or whatever. I mean, I don't think that there's anything new that can be added to the Michael Jordan discussion. But that's definitely a weird video that is circling around the internet. I'm not accusing him of anything, but I don't know. It's like he's got to come out and explain what the hell happened in that video. And then there's Kevin Durant. Now, Kevin Durant is someone who we've known for a long time to be an internet, I don't even want to say troll, but like someone who really cares about what people say about him online. And it recently came out that he used his burner account to talk crap about his teammates, which is weird because one of his teammates actually came out and said that he grew up idolizing Kevin Durant and now he gets to play with him. And now it comes out that he was talking crap about him behind his back, which can't be good for team morale. And Kevin Durant, forcing his way in and out of a lot of teams is much like, James Harden, just kind of really souring his legacy. There's no doubt that Kevin Durant is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Even though that people don't really respect his 2 rings in Golden State, he did win Finals MVP in both of them. So he knows what he's doing. He's a great basketball player. And it also turns out that he was bragging about having financial ties to Israel, which again, terrible look. Him, Stephen Curry, and LeBron James are 3 pillars of the NBA that a lot of people have looked up to, and in recent years, they have all given them reason to not support them and not like them. And this is an opportunity for the NHL. As I'm going to circle around to the NHL, they have a great opportunity to capitalize on the NBA. The NBA is constantly having players be out. There's talks of shortening the season. And I think that all of the issues that happen in the NBA are solved by the NHL. The NHL players don't complain about the length of the season. They play through injuries all the time. When a game is close at the end of the game, it's not like the NBA where it slows down with free throws. It actually gets more exciting because the other team pulls their goalie and has an extra attacker on the ice. So it actually gets more interesting as it goes on in a tight game. So the NHL with the Olympics and 4 nations has a very great opportunity to capitalize on this opportunity to grow their sport, because I think that hockey is one of the best sports in the world, and it's far superior to basketball, and the NHL has a serious opportunity to really capitalize on that. And I want to close out by talking about this scandal that we're having in MLB regarding Tony Clark. Now, Tony Clark, I know him as a guy who I grew up watching, and now he looks like Santa Claus. So that kind of hurt. That made me feel old. But Tony Clark is the head of the MLB Players Association, and he just had to resign because it came out that he had an affair with his sister-in-law, and he also apparently was pocketing some sort of money that was supposed to be going to another fund, and he ended up pocketing that money himself. Now, this could not come at a worse time because at the end of this season, Major League Baseball is likely to have a work stoppage if they're not able to come to an agreement on the collective bargaining agreement. And everyone's saying a lockout is coming, and it's due to the players and the owners not agreeing on whether or not there should be a salary cap. So the fact that the head of the players union has to step down is, at this point in time, just terrible. It is the worst time that it possibly could have come out, and it makes no one look good. Now, I will say that if this affects negotiations, it's going to really suck because I'm not saying that this isn't a big scandal, but I'm like, my brother in Christ, the president of the United States is quite literally involved in the biggest child sex trafficking scandal we've ever seen. Kids go to school every day, and a lot of them don't make it home due to gun violence. We have ICE agents who are supposed to be upholding the law, quite literally taking the life of everyday Americans in the streets. I'm sorry, we got bigger fish to fry than someone sleeping with their sister-in-law. It sucks. Obviously, I don't condone adultery. I would like everybody to who gets married to stay married, and if they want to venture outside of their marriage and get a little freaky, they can do that. But if it's not something that is agreed upon, then they shouldn't do it. But this is it's just a weak scandal in the year of our Lord 2026. We are so desensitized. We have so much more important things going on right now. And so it's a shame that something like this has happened, and it might affect the negotiations. I don't think it will because, we'll have the season and hopefully things will work itself out. But in addition, obviously him stepping down, his replacement was Bruce Meyer, who was unanimously elected as executive director of the Major League Baseball Players Association. Which, I mean, he was the previous number 2 at the union. So, I mean, it does seem kind of quick, but, I assume that, when this scandal happened, they made sure that their ducks were in a row and that they had a replacement as soon as possible. Because if this thing drags out for a week or 2, or maybe into the World Baseball Classic or into spring training, where you don't have a director of the Major League Baseball Players Union, it's obviously not a good look. So I think that this was obviously planned to put this scandal out and then immediately have a replacement. But I am way over time. I apologize for that. This does it for this edition of the Kevin Blekicki Show. If you want to follow me on social media, follow me on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram at Kevin Blekicki. Thanks again to all the people who saw my latest YouTube video and ran up those numbers. We'll talk to you again soon, and have a great week.